Hey, some people had some problems with the Grove Beginner Kit for Arduino Lesson 10, sensing movement. So the idea is you want to get some data from the accelerometer and it's not working. So I tried it and it didn't work for me either. So I'm going to, again, go through just some troubleshooting that I did, which is kind of probably the same thing you'd have to do if it didn't work. This happens often. You try something and it doesn't work for some reason. So the first thing is they tell you to download this library, and the way that they tell you to do it is to click on this link to GitHub. GitHub is a place where open source projects are shared, and the easiest way to get something from GitHub is to look for this releases tab on the side here. And if it's got one, you can click on it, and there's an easy way to just download the project. So I clicked here and downloaded the library. And then the rest of the instructions are to go to the sketch menu, choose include library, and add zip library. So that's what I did. Sketch, include library, add zip library, and then I chose the file in my downloads folder. So it installed it. And where does it get installed? Well, if you go to the file menu and choose preferences, you'll see that here it shows you the sketchbook location. This is where all of your Arduino projects get saved. And in fact, there's a folder under here called /libraries. And in my case, I already had a library for the accelerometer. It's a different library. Somehow I had two of them. So the first time I tried to run the code that's in the PDF, it gave me an error about having two competing libraries. So I had to delete one of them. And that's how I found it, by going to that Arduino folder and going under there into the libraries folder. So the next thing is they tell you to just copy this program and see what happens. So unfortunately, when we paste, of course, it screws up the indenting and the line spacing. But we can go here to find, where are we? Tools, auto format, or just press Control T and or Command T on a Mac. Of course, it doesn't keep all the line spacing, so making it readable is a good idea. Then I hit the check mark, and this is where people had trouble. So it is, actually, there's a problem here. This line breaking is off. So let's see if that helps. That's just a product of pasting. So let's try it again. Hit the check mark. And it's got some trouble. It's basically saying this line right here has, which is this line, it's highlighted it for me. I2C mode is basically just saying, like, I don't even know what that is. When it says it's not declared in the scope, it's like it doesn't know what that is. So obviously, like when we hover over something, it should show us like what that value is. So like here, wire actually means something. If I hover over I2C mode, it does not show anything. So this is interesting. I think what's really happened here is that this code is just not working. Like the code that they've supplied doesn't work. So maybe, like this is maybe part of an old library or something, just doesn't seem to work. So the first thing to do is what I showed in another video, which is to basically just go to the examples folder, find the library, and see if you can get their example to work, which is right here. So I will go to this one, which is just seems like the simplest one maybe. And see if I can do the check mark on here. Okay, that compiles. So the library example seems to work. But of course, if I upload, that's the real test. Does it work when I upload? So it's uploading right now. This program seems to do this serial printing at this baud rate. So I'll have to make sure when I click serial monitor that it's at the right baud rate, and it is. And it just says it didn't connect. So let's look down here, and says it didn't connect. Like if this variable is not true, that's what that means. In any case, it's just not doing anything, right? So it should at least print temp. And actually, while I'm looking at this code, I think what I would like it to print is the XYZ values. So I'll just uncomment that. That's what I really want to see. I actually don't care about this, so maybe I will just comment that out. So every half second, it should print the XYZ values. But it's not working, so it doesn't matter. So how can I get it to work? Well, it didn't give me any errors when I tried to compile it, so there's obviously no problem here. One thing to think about is whether the address is correct. So one of the things they explain in here is that this particular sensor uses this protocol called I2C or I squared C. That's how it communicates. Certain things like LEDs and buttons and buzzers can just connect right to the pins, the digital or analog pins on the Arduino. But some of these are more sophisticated sensors, and they have to communicate through a special protocol. So that's the I squared C or I2C bus. And the way that works is there are just two pins, pins 3 and 2 in this case. And actually, if I go back up to the top, it should show me, well, okay, it's not pins 3 and 2 because pin 3, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. That code didn't work anyway, so I don't want to get too much into looking at that code because it didn't work. But it does show how I squared C works. Some of the things like the OLED, which we have used, the air pressure sensor, the three-axis accelerometer, not accelerator, those communicate through I squared C. That's how they're wired on the Grove board. So what it tells you here, though, is that there's an address. It needs to be addressed. You can have multiple different devices or sensors connected to the same couple pins on the Arduino, and just by having a different address, they're all able to communicate with very few wires involved. So that's what I squared C does it for us. But if we look over here, the address, the default address is 0x18. Here's another one that's commented out. It could be 0x19, so that's changing it. If you don't put anything in the default, it's 0x18, it seems. So it could be that we're just at the wrong address. It's not finding the sensor. So there's a problem here because this actually seems to be wrong. I don't think it's at 63, 063. And when I Google, well, actually, when I check the library here that I downloaded from, if I look at the example they've got here, this has the same kind of code. Let's look back at the Arduino. There's something here that's LIS begin. And we either use just wire or wire with an address after it if we want to specify an address. Otherwise, if we don't specify address, it's 0x18. So let's look at this example. And first of all, I'll just copy this and see if this works. Let me paste that in and upload that, see if that one works. So this is, instead of using the library example, I'm using the one that's right on the GitHub page. And there, it seems to be working. So what's the difference? The difference is here, just like in the code that we just saw, I just undid the paste. The code here, if we comment out this one and, oops, and do this one instead, it's giving it an address. So the if we look here at the one that I got from GitHub, it's doing the same thing. It's wire, and then it's an address. Now, it's not actually putting in 0x something, but if I hover over it, it shows that it's actually 0x19. So it seems like the issue is that it was looking at the wrong address. The library, let's look back, undo. This is the original example from the library. It had this line enabled, which was 18. And now if I change it to 19, this example from the library examples folder should work too, I would think. Let's see. We're in the serial monitor, and that's working too. This one's a little different because it waits a second, it seems. Oh, half a second. The other one just spits it out really fast. So the problem was just that the code that was in the PDF was bad. It was referring to some other library, it seemed. And then, or maybe like an older version of this library. And then the example from the library didn't work because it was looking for a device at 0x18. The code on the GitHub page is a little different, but it's still doing the same thing. It's setting up the sensor and then reading from it. And the only difference with this code was that it's actually using 0x19. And this is just a shortcut. I don't know why it's called address updated. Maybe this is an updated version of the board or whatever, but you could see once we paste it in here that this address updated variable is actually defined as 0x19. It's just a shortcut. So I'm going to upload this one because it goes faster and we should be able to see it working in the serial monitor. Okay, so there we go. Now, this works well because it has X colon, Y colon, Z colon. This works well with the serial plotter. So you can actually see all of the different variables, X, Y, and Z. And if I bump this up and down, you see the green one moving. If I twist it left and right, you see the orange one moving. And if I turn it the other way, I see the blue one moving. Hard to tell, but I think that's what's happening. So yeah, and we can even uncheck them, right? So I only want to see the Z. And when I shake it up and down, those values change. It's a little hard to see in here because the axis here is changing as I shake it. But let's just get out of here. And what I want to do is make this a little easier to get to TouchDesigner. So instead of doing this X, Y, Z, what I'm going to do is what I've done before, which is just have 3 numbers separated by commas. That'll be really easy to deal with in TouchDesigner. So I'm taking out the X, Y, Z parts of the printing, and instead of printing a space between them, I'll print a comma. So let's try this. I'll upload and we'll see what it looks like in the Arduino serial monitor. And there you go. That looks good. So I'm going to quit out of here. I'm not even going to save it. Probably not a good idea for you, but I don't care. And then in TouchDesigner, what I'm going to do is just see this visualized. Now, we remember that the way we get data from the Arduino is to do a serial DAT. And then we need to, well, it would be good to just see it working here. I don't have the Arduino open, so I'd expect it to be working. It says it couldn't connect to the device, so I do need to choose a port. And I don't see anything, so there's still an error here. Let's look again. It says it's trying to receive, but it's having trouble. It's saying, please ensure that it's set to 1 byte or append the end of line. You know, what's happening is actually, I can tell you, the baud rate is wrong. So it's receiving what seems like junk instead of lines of text. So I'm going to set it to 115.2, and we should start seeing the messages come across, and there they are. I've shown this in another video, but there's a really easy way to break apart the incoming message by with commas. So I can do X, Y, Z, or name, you know, any names I want, equals the message dot split, and then in quotes I can put a comma. That'll give me an X, Y, and a Z variable. Now, I'm going to make a constant chop over here, and I'm going to make 3 different channels in that constant chop, and actually I'll just call them X, Y, Z. Okay, and remember, I want to change the parameter const 0 value, and that will allow me to change this X channel. Const 1 value will allow me to change Y, and so on. So I'll do that here. For operator constant 1, I want to change one of its parameters, the parameter called const 0 value, and I want to set it to X. And I'll do the same thing. Whoa, what's happening? I'll do the same thing for the other variables. So it's const 2, const 1, Y, and Z. So I'm seeing them all show up here. If I wanted to see that really quickly, I could just look at a trail chop. There they are. And if I move this thing around, you can see that the values are changing based on me moving the board around. Okay, now I'm going to go one step further. I know we didn't really deal with 3D in TouchDesigner this semester, but I'm going to add a box. And I'm going to make that go out to a geometry comp. That'll give me a 3D box on the screen if I render it. So I can add a render top. And that should give me, I'll make it go to an out at the end, but that should give me what I need. But I'll see here, I need a camera as well. So I will open a camera comp, and I'm going to hold down Control. And when I add the camera, I'll also add a light because I need those both. So what happens is this render top actually picks up any geometry, any lights, and also any cameras. Well, camera 1. So it's got all those and made those links by itself. So now I see this camera over here. This box in the output. If I wanted to click on, let's say, this box and do some rotating, I can make it turn. So you can see the numbers are big numbers. So it's doing like 3, degrees. So these values of 0 through, or -1 through 1 aren't really going to be good. So we know how to deal with that. I can just translate that to a different range using a math chop. So instead of going -1 to 1. I want it to go maybe from like -180 to 180. And I should be able to just make this go to a null and have this affect those three things. So this is the Y rotate, this is the X rotate, and this is the Z rotate. So as I move the board around, it looks really spastic, which isn't great. So maybe I can add like a filter chop in here. And we see that it's much slower now. So I'm moving the board around. It's actually too much. Like if I turn the board 180 degrees, it kind of like flips too far. So I can actually change the parameters of the filter so that it's like maybe half a second instead of 1 second. And so now when I move the board around, it's kind of following me. I could turn that down even further. So as I turn it down further, it starts to jiggle, right? Which is like not filtering enough. So I could play around with that, or I could use a lag instead. It's kind of nice that it's got some animation to it, so I kind of like it. But now you can see that you actually are able to turn the board and have it affect this 3D cube on the screen. Okay, I hope that helps.